What's up everyone, welcome back to another video on this Match Betting for Beginners YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about betting exchanges, what are they, how they work and how we use them for match betting. So let's get straight into it. So what is a betting exchange? Now a betting exchange is similar to a bookmaker in that it will allow you to place bets on a range of different sporting events, but the main difference with the betting exchanges is that you are actually betting against other people instead of betting against the bookmaker. So what that means is that the odds on the betting exchange more closely represent the true market odds. The odds are not like on a bookmakers. The odds are set by the bookmakers. So the bookmakers will set the odds for them to make a profit on, whereas the exchange odds are based on just the market volatility and things like that. So you get a much truer representation of what the actual odds of an event happening are. The main thing that a betting exchange allows us to do though is it allows us to bet for a certain sporting event happening, and it also allows us to bet against a certain event happening. So when you're betting for something to happen, that is what we call in match betting terms a back bet, and when you're betting against something to happen, that is what they call a lay bet. Now you'll come across these terms quite a lot in match betting, but if you just remember, back bet is when you're backing for something to happen, and a lay bet is when, the term, you're laying it off, so you're betting against something to happen. That is key to match betting. And so betting exchanges, instead of making their money through people losing money, gambling, etc., like a traditional bookmaker do, they make their money by charging a commission on all the bets on the betting exchange. So to them, it doesn't matter what the odds are, it makes no difference whether you win money or lose money. They're going to make money through the commission that they charge. So it doesn't matter to them who wins or who loses. Now then, so as I've just explained, a back bet is when we're betting that something will happen, and a lay bet is when we're betting that something will not happen. The important thing to know about this is when we are placing lay bets, it'll cover all other outcomes of that event happening. So, for example, if it's a football match and you are betting against a team to win, so for example on here, the blue column will be the lay bet column, and so if we are laying against England women to win on this specific game, that lay bet will cover the draw and the loss. So if on a bookmakers you would bet for England to win, and then on the betting exchange you would bet against England to win, that betting exchange bet would cover both the draw and the loss. So you will have all three outcomes covered, and that is what we need from match betting. We need to cover all outcomes. For example, if it's a horse race and you back a horse to win at a bookmaker, and then you want to go into a betting exchange and lay the horse to win, you are essentially laying that horse, you are covering all the other horses in that race. So if you weren't able to do this, you'd have to go through on different bookmakers and back all the other horses in that race so that you can cover all outcomes, and that's just not possible without a betting exchange. So that is vital to match betting. Now then, things to know about betting exchanges. Terms like liquidity, you'll hear the term liquidity, or you'll see the term liquidity. Liquidity means how much money is available to match against your bet. So as I explained earlier, with a betting exchange, you are betting against other people. So in order for you to place your bet, there needs to be someone on the other side placing the opposite kind of bet. So with the England women, for example, the green column is the back column. So there's £773 liquidity in the back bet, and there's £791 liquidity in the lay bet. So if you're going to place a lay bet on against the England women, in this example, you could bet up to £791 before there'd be no liquidity left in that market. So liquidity is not normally something you need to worry about with match betting. Just it's worth knowing, and it's worth checking as well when you're going to be placing your lay bets. So what is liability and what does it mean? Liability on the betting exchange is the amount that you need in your betting exchange account to cover that bet. So for example, if you have placed a bet at a bookmaker for an event to happen, and then you go onto the betting exchange and you place a lay bet against that bet to happen, you are essentially taking that bet from the bookmaker. So you to keep it simple, you are kind of becoming the bookmaker. So the liability is the amount needed to cover that bet in case it does win at the bookmakers. So as explained earlier, you will have all sides covered, but the liability is the amount you will need in your betting exchange account to cover that bet. So a quick example here, we've got a £10 back bet. So what that means is the £10 we have backed a selection to win at the bookmakers at odds of 3.7. Then you would go onto the betting exchange, find that same selection, and you would bet against that event to happen. And I've just said, the odds could be 3.75, which, is not a far off example, to be honest. This is a pretty typical day-to-day match betting example. So at odds of 3.75, you would need to lay, this would be your lay stake, £9.92. That would be your lay stake, and the liability, which is the amount that you would need in your betting exchange account, would be £27.28. So that's definitely worth knowing. Liability is how much you will need in your betting exchange account to cover the lay bet. So how does commission work? So betting exchanges make money through commission, as I mentioned earlier. So they don't need the odds to be in their favour to make a profit, unlike the bookmakers. So a lot of times on the bookmakers, you'll see they have a lot of different odds, and a lot of the odds, they are calculated to be in the bookmaker's favour, whereas the betting exchange does not need that. It doesn't matter to them what the odds are. They make the same level of commission regardless of what the odds are. So here are a couple of examples of how commission works and how the different levels of commission will affect your profit or potential profit. So this is using an example using a £20 free bet, which is a regular occurrence within match betting. So using the exact same back stake and the exact same odds and the exact same lay odds, but just changing the lay commission, the betting exchange commission, on a 5% commission for a £20 free bet, you will profit £14.43 at the back odds of 4 and lay odds of 4. And the same, but on a 2% commission, your profit will be £14.76. So you can see there's a 33p difference there between the two levels of commission. Now that might not sound like a lot, but you think with match betting, if you're doing anywhere between 100 and let's say 300 bets every month, that 33p is going to add up to £33 or £66 or however many bets you're doing. It does add up. So that is one of the things you do need to keep in mind when choosing which commission you are going to use, which betting exchange you are going to use, due to the varying levels of commission. So as I said, there are two main popular betting exchanges. The first one is Betfair. They are the biggest betting exchange in the world, and they do offer a very wide range of markets, and they have the most liquidity out of all the betting exchanges. They're the upsides, but the downsides to Betfair, and pretty much the main reason why I don't personally use them, is they do charge a 5% commission on all lay bets. So every time you place a bet, you're going to be paying 5% commission. On S markets, they are the second biggest exchange out there. They do have slightly less markets than Betfair, but for us, match betting terms, it's not anything really to worry about. They do have all the markets that you need, really. It's very rare I've found a bet on a bookmaker that I can't lay off using S markets. They do have slightly smaller liquidity. However, from the screenshot that I showed you earlier, there was a £700 liquidity there. A lot of the time we're only going to be placing £10, £15, £20 lay stake bets. So liquidity is not normally an issue with S markets. You will find the odd obscure market that you might need a little bit more liquidity on, but it's not really an issue. The main upside for S markets, and the reason I personally use them, is the 2% commission. As I said, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it will really add up, the different level of commissions. Now then, this is also worth discussing, and I don't really see many people discussing this, but is it safe to keep your funds in a betting exchange? Now then, I think it's safe to keep them in there. I've had quite a bit of money in them at once for different points in time. But I will just highlight the different levels of protection for your funds between Betfair and S markets. So Betfair have what they call a high level of protection of customer funds. This means that if your funds that you deposit into your Betfair account or your Betfair betting exchange account, they will be segregated from the company funds. That means that in case of insolvency, your funds will be protected, and if the company got taken over or anything else like that, you would still be able to withdraw your money. Now then, with S markets, they have what's called a basic level of protection of customer funds. So although they do segregate the funds, so they will, if you deposit onto S Markets, they won't be spending your money on marketing, or they won't be spending your money on, you know, keeping the business afloat, in essence. But if they did for any reason go insolvent, your funds would not be protected, so you would not be guaranteed to withdraw. I do think that's definitely worth mentioning, and, you know, just for full disclosure, I am recommending S Markets to people, but it is worth knowing. Now, they are both multi-million-pound companies. I don't expect any of them to go insolvent in the anywhere near or distant future. But again, it's your decision, and make it based on what you prefer. If you prefer the higher level of protection, but you want to pay a bit more for that, by all means, go for Betfair. If you want the lower commission and you feel safe that S Markets is, you know, not going to go insolvent anytime soon, again, use S Markets, but completely your choice. Worth knowing, they do both comply with the UK Gambling Commission standards, so they are both above board and legal. It's just one's different to the other, and that's up to you to make your mind up. So, if you do want to get started with match betting, I'll put the link below for the Profit Accumulator free trial. That is, in 2016, that is how I got started with match betting. I started with a Profit Accumulator free trial. I completed that. I did the welcome offers on the free trial, used the profit from that, and then signed up for the membership and completed the rest of the welcome offers, and I've been going from there since then. So that is, I'm only recommending what I have personally done. That is what I would do. Now then, if you do use the link that I'm going to put below, I will get a small commission from Profit Accumulator if you do sign up using my link. However, as my way of saying thank you for using my link, if you DM me on any of the social media links that I'm going to put below, I will send you my free 100% top 5 tips to match betting. These are things that I have learned over the last 3 years of match betting. A couple of them are mistakes that I've made that have cost me a bit of money along the way, which, you know, I think a lot of people, especially if you're just starting out, I think it'll be helpful to learn what mistakes even experienced match bettors have made, and, you know, you can avoid making them very same mistakes. I'll also send you over the exact spreadsheet that I personally use for tracking my match betting profit. Now, the Profit Accumulator do have a profit tracking system in their software, so you can just use their software to track your profits. However, I do prefer to use my own spreadsheet. It just helps me keep track of everything, track my withdrawals, where the money is, etc. Join the Facebook group if you want to learn more. I'm more than happy to answer any questions I can in there. Again, take a look at the website. I'm putting a lot of good content up there, a lot of reviews, videos, you know, step-by-step guides. There's a lot of stuff on there. And comment below if you've got any questions, and I will try my best to answer as many as I can. So, until next time, guys, thanks for watching.